Good morning, Ramon. It's Holden and Ramon, and we're going to hang out and talk a little bit about the end of this Atlanta-Indianapolis Colts game. It's been a good game for me. Had a London with a big game in the prop market, and then Algier to get in the end zone. They always price that wrong in the mid 300s.
I played Mooney's receptions over. Well, Butterfinger.
Yeah, you just dropped that. What do you think? Do I wear the Broncos hat or do I just go full nuts today? I could send you some.
That's a good let. You send me, what, Broncos hat or hair?
Yeah, just show the lettuce. All right, who cares, buddy? So listen, this has been a fun game. I think it's the last international game of the year. At least I hope it is.
I thought there was one more, actually.
Oh no, it's too early out here. It's too early out here for us. Anywhere west of the, plains.
Potential grounding there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go look at today's game, buddy. Unless you have the other international game. I'd love to know about it.
Oh, I was just looking it up right here, and I didn't know if I could get it real quick. But
okay. Hair looks fine for Sunday football. Thanks, Ernie. Appreciate that, buddy. So we've got the Saints and the Panthers was first up. I don't want to talk about that game first. I'd rather talk about the Giants and the Bears, okay? So the Giants are grabbing 4.5 on the road, and I absolutely love that. I think this Bears team is a debacle defensively. Now, Swift is back, and I think we should see some points in this game too. I did not bet the points, but 44.5, 45. Given how porous this Giants defense is, I mean, how do we not look at the total? What are you looking at, Ramon?
Well, there's weather involved in this game. It's going to be clear by the time the game rolls around, but the wind is coming again, kind of similar to what we saw on Thursday night. I think that's going to be a big factor. By the way, Washington and Miami next week from Madrid at the Bernabeu, of all places.
Again?
Your last game there. But no, look, I think this is a spot for Dart because I think the weather will be a little bit of a factor. You'll see both these quarters kind of taken off. They'll lose their faith. They'll lose their trust a little bit because I think the ball will be blown around a little bit. We know that sometimes it's not the rain or the snow, but more the wind. And it is expected to be windy, even though Kevin Roth did tweet out that the weather would clear pretty much close to or right after game time, but the wind will be sticking around. So I want to take the Giants here, and I am going to end up going over. My cap is definitely on the under, Holden. My cap is on the over, but I got to go under. I think this weather is a big factor here today, and I think it will change the complexion of the game. And I think it allows this one to be a little bit of volatility, so I'm going to take the points with the Giants.
Yeah, I took the Giants 4.5. I hope we get some snow. A lot of snow actually, but we'll see if that ends up going down. Not too many other weather concerns. Wind is usually the big one. I'm seeing nothing. That's we're fine. Besides for that game, let's move on to game. Yeah,
New York though. New York didn't have a little bit of rain, maybe.
I mean, rain's fine unless it's a Dellers. Rain is fine. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, it's not that big a deal. 33% just at the end of the game, so nothing. Yeah.
Smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, NTH Sports Picks. Let's keep going here. The lettuce keeps going here. I'm getting a cut this week. Do you want some? You want me to send you some?
I just keep what I have left right here.
All right, I like it. Now it's the Saints and the Panthers. Saints are hot garbage. Panthers somehow over 500. 38.5 total. I do not have much to say about this game besides for Rico the Freako Dowdle, who's probably going to have a big game again.
Yeah, look, I would say that the sharps that I've listened to anyway are kind of saying this is a Saints spot. Look, I want to obviously see more from Tyler Shuck. I mean, he's an unproven commodity here with just the one start. So Carolina's certainly been playing enough defense here. I think this will be an under game. I don't expect big production from Shuck here. And look, there's your Daniel Jones lipstick shot, by the way, on the screen. But no, Dowdle, I love the running game here, certainly for Carolina today. And I think that's what they'll opt to do. I think it will prevent them a little bit from maybe opening this up. I think I like the under more, but I'm still going to grab those points with the Saints. I'm kind of siding what I think of the sharps, kind of taking these points because obviously it's not 6, right? It's 5.5
Mhm.
pretty much. And I don't know. I'm not real big on indicators, but sometimes when you're hanging out in the 5s instead of the 6s, and what should be. Look, I don't think Carolina's a fluke, Holden. I'm not saying they're even a playoff team, but I certainly think they're deserving of their 5-4 record.
Okay. I think so too. I think they're a better home team as well. So keep
They
that
are.
in mind. I know. Bills Dolphins. I'm not going to spend much time on this. You can get it at 7.5 at ESPN, 8.5 at DK FanDuel, and the total's 48.5. Actually, now 49.5 and 50. That thing got bumped up. If you want to go under, there's a 50.5 at DraftKings. The Dolphins are hot garbage. The only thing I could say, I think Washington and Waddle are probably, and Achane probably in the mix to have some yards today, especially if they fall from behind against this Bills team.
Yeah, if you didn't have such a bad track record for Miami this year, you'd be oogling over this matchup and say this is a good situation for Miami here with Waddle here today and with Achane as well. But it's just a matter of, if the Bills can get a little bit of pressure on Tua, then it could be a disaster here because they can control the ball, control the game. But again, I can't ignore the move, Holden. I mean, this thing was as high as 9 or 9.5. It's down to 7.5. So I'm probably going to join the pool here if it is the sharp money coming in. I'm taking the Dolphins here plus the points. Bills do. You might think Bills going south. Dolphins have had no. Bills dominate this series big time. They win it They win it every time. I think it's a 12-1, 13-1, last 13. And we know the Dolphins. And look, they haven't fired Coach McDaniel. He's obviously sticking around. So I'm going to take him, though, here. And I've got an over here. I've got a big one. I've got big offense. I got an unstoppable game tonight with the Bills and the Dolphins. Give me the over, and I'll take the Dolphins.
Lowest total on board is the Jags at the Texans. So why not take a couple of over player props? Second,
Did you?
Second, Brian Thomas got ruled out. I took Parker Washington to get his yards. He was really the guy that got peppered last week. I know Myers is there. I'm not too worried about it. De'Ami Brown could have a big catch. But then on the other side, Dalton Schultz in a decent matchup. So, decided to go a couple of player props over in the lowest total of the game. We're going to find out if that's a bad idea.
No, well, look, you might be taking advantage of a little bit of market manipulation, though, there, right? Because sometimes a guy gets ruled out and a little slow to come in on the market and adjust those other guys a little bit. That's kind of what happens sometimes. So you see some value in there. That's okay. But, you're right. You know what? Washington might outpoint Myers, I would think, here today for Jacksonville. And it's not easy. The Texans are going to be really harassing for sure here. And, yeah, Davis Mills, it's bad, Holden. I mean, his record at home with Houston is 1-16-1 as a starting quarterback. He was a starting quarterback of this team for basically 2 years there. It was out of necessity kind of, and it wasn't like he was doing a very good job, but he kept him in games sometimes. But I've got this as a Houston spot. If you will. I am taking him here with Davis Mills, but only because I do think it will be an ugly game, something in the 19. I had called one last week, and I think we had it just off 19-16 and finished 19-17 or something like that, and I'll take it again today. Texans win in a low-score, ugly game here, 19-16, 19-17.
Okay. I don't mind that at all. We've got the Browns and Jets. We can move past this if you'd like.
Well, I think it's important to note that, you do have Fields in here, and I just want to give him credit, Holden. I know it's funny because we know that he's all God-fearing and everything, but at least for him, he stuck up for himself, right? When he got benched and then all of a sudden Taylor was injured, come crawling back and says, hey, man, we need you to play quarterback. He stood up in that game and showed out. I mean, he was the star of that game. He was a man, and everyone in that locker room has to look at him now with respect, other than, they might have not been looking at him like that before, but he put the team on his shoulders, whatever guys were willing to join him, and he won that game. Whether or not it's enough to overcome this Browns pass rush, he better use everything he's got if he's going to get this one. I've got this one going under, and I did end up on the Jets, but, man, I'm afraid if he doesn't get away from the Browns, it is going to be a long afternoon. But I think his mobility will help him against the awesome Browns pass rush.
Okay. Let's move on. We've got the Ravens and Vikings. This could be a fun one. High total too, 48.5, 49. I'm seeing a 49.5 out there at the score, if you can bet that if you're up in Canada. But here we go with Lamar Jackson, game number 2 back. I wonder if he runs. And then on the Viking side, J.J. McCarthy could be a big one here for Addison and Justin Jefferson, as well as the Ravens are laying 4.5 on the road. Is that fish?
Yeah, it's so interesting to say that, right? Because we know Jefferson's a star, Addison's coming on, and even Naylor's getting the targets. When you got a guy like Hawkinson, look, there's a reason why KOC was willing to stick, I think, with McCarthy. And even when you wanted to count him out of the last one, he still pulls it out of his ass at the end of the game, just like he did in those first 2 starts, even if it didn't work out quite in his favor. I'm a believer at this point. We're not going to ride in there. He's got a lot to learn and might even take this whole season. And maybe the Vikings will end up short here in the end. I mean, they're still only 500. And, yeah, it does just change. Anytime you put Lamar in, it woke up the Ravens, and they're back to being a contender, even though they got their work cut out for them. I think it will be a shootout, actually, and I think it goes way over here. And I think the Vikings getting with volatility, you got a high-scoring game, I'll take those points.
Way over. Okay. Hey, smash the like button. NTH Sports Picks. That's the YouTube channel, new YouTube channel. Please subscribe if you like what you're seeing here. If you don't like what you're seeing here, please subscribe. That'd be great. You know what's fun, Ramon? Our guys in the chat are sweating out 30-plus rushes for Jonathan Taylor, a live bet from Kegger at plus 650. So they've been really chomping at the bit to get these 4 carries, and they should get it on this drive.
Yeah,
all right.
Sack here. That was terrific. A season-long NFL season-long run right there on that big play by Taylor. Electrified the crowd and saved the day.
Yeah, and he beat Bijan for the longest rush of the year, which is interesting, huh? He beat Bijan on that play. Okay. New England at Tampa Bay, possibly the game of the day, definitely in the 1:00 window. Drake May, MVP chance. Baker's dropped back a little bit in these last couple of weeks. The numbers moved from 48 to 48.5 at a lot of places. 2.5-point favorites for the Bucs at home. You know, I think Ibuka is in a really good spot. I think that the Patriots probably Travion Henderson, although we've been burned by too much by him. So I'm not sure I want to take on Henderson in this one. But do you have a side or a total in this game, Ramon?
You know, I did end up on the under. It does look on the surface like yeah. I mean, I think you're going to get into it's supposed to be a close game, obviously, and I think it might get a little grindy at the end here. For whatever reason, these Bucs, the games do start out slow, even on these Bucs games that look like it will be a shootout. And then it starts to pick up. Then you get close. You could end up just like this one, probably, where it looked like it was going to be an under, and then boom, boom, field goal, overtime, over. But I'm going to take the Bucs here. I think the Patriots. I'm a believer. Drake May, whether or not he's an MVP or not, that doesn't matter. When you're included in the conversation right now, he's been terrific, and the pieces around him too look good. Still going up against one of the best home teams here, year in and year out in a non-conference game. So it is. I rarely want to say, hey, just take the money line instead, but this one I might here. It might be that close, but I think the Bucs can get it. I don't like to play the do factor, but come on, the Patriots are on a roll, and then all of a sudden they've got a little bit of we got a non-conference game on the road against a good team. How many can we really win in a row? But hey, May versus Mayfield, so I'm into it. Getting the big screen for sure. Obviously, game of the morning.
4:00 slate. They priced me out of the Jackson Smith and Jigba longest reception. Can't do it at 27.5, 28.5. Just not going to pull the trigger. So that bet is dead. Jacoby Brissett under center. So I think that it's looking pretty good for the Cardinals passing game. Of course, there is a new face with the Seahawks, Rashid Shaheed, and I wonder how much he is used in week 1. So this line's all over the place. You can grab a 6.5. You can grab a 7. You can grab a 7.5 at ESPN Bet, depending on which side you want to land on. So the Cardinals and the Seahawks. Sam Darnold, is he chucking again? Because this running game for Seattle has been putrid, Ramon.
What happened? I mean, they were everything for a while there, and then all of a sudden, no. But adding Shaheed here, I've talked about him for every week. I'm talking up those Saints receivers, even if it didn't work out. Shaheed should have a pretty good game here against Arizona, but can't ignore Arizona 4-0 already on the road against the spread, 10-1. Their last 11 as underdogs. I mean, I'm taking Arizona for sure. But Brissett bringing that stability that we don't get with Kyler Murray. Murray's great. Hey, if we want to, get backdoor covers all day long, hey, we want Kyler Murray on our team. Give us a chance to win here with Jacoby Brissett right now. Maybe a little bit more stability here, and you got a whole touchdown. Yeah, I'm gonna take the points and go. I'm gonna go under. I think in this game because I think that's what Brissett will do. I think they'll look to maybe try to keep the ball as long as they can and keep it out of Seattle's hands. But again, the running game kind of has to be key for Seattle to get the effectiveness that they've seen at the quarterback position with Darnold. So that does worry me a little bit because Cardinals do put a little bit of heat on. And I don't think it is a great spot for JSN here, but I do like Shaheed for sure.
So the Rams and the Niners, we get a lot of line movement with this. It's 5.5 now, just about everywhere. 5.5 point favorites on the road for the Rams. I think the Niners stay in this game, buddy. Maybe it was 4.5 at one point. High total, 48.5, 49.5. But there are some explosive pieces. But the Niners are at home, and everybody's poo-pooing this team. I get it. Matt Stafford could be the MVP, but it might be a little too many points in this game with the Rams.
Yeah, and the Rams have had their share of success. We know this is a good. This rivalry's produced plenty of great, good games here for years. And I think it opened. The sendout was 2.5, but Bet Online opened at 3, Circa opened at 3.5, and now you're looking at 5.5s and 6s almost across the board. So, look, Puka's in. Everyone's all excited. And again, Stafford makes these receivers really. Not that Puka's not great, and he'll have, I'm sure, a good opportunity here. But no, I mean, I'm always going to trust Shanahan in this situation.
Yep.
Probably sprinkle the money line for sure. Hey, the Rams could win on a field goal or whatever. You want to buy out of it late, you'll get some equity, I would think here. I don't see a blow. Touch 6 points for holding. This is the NFL.
Taylor walk off.
Yeah, 6 points. This is the NFL. That's like a blowout, right? This is one of the best rivalries in football.
Yeah.
And look, Rams have a great run defense, no doubt about it, right? And probably no. I got them number 1. Run defense, so that's trouble for McCaffrey. But you do have an extraordinary back, so even a modest effort from McCaffrey will hopefully open it up here. Kittle could have a big one here in this one.
Yeah, I'm with you. So what else do we have? We've got the Lions Commanders. Is this blowout city, buddy? Lions Commanders 48.5, 7.5 on the side with the Lions going into Washington.
Yeah, we got a final here with the Colts winning it in overtime, and you got to give it to the man there to end the game, Taylor, on a 8-yard touchdown run there, holding. And then also, just to mention, the game landed pretty much right on the number. Some people may have even won, laying 5.5. Lions and Commanders here. I tried every which way to get to the Commanders because, hey, I love any home dog getting a touchdown or more, and just couldn't do it. I actually had to veto my trusty computer here on this one and go with the eye test. I think the Lions here blow them out right now. It's just not the right time for the Commanders. I'll give them credit. Quinn again. Quinn against Campbell does sound like an okay situation. Like these guys have already had some memorable games, but not right now. The Lions. This is their spot, right? Coming off a bad game. They always throttle the opposition the next game. This is what they do. That's how Campbell has amassed such great spread numbers.
I almost pulled the trigger on Laporta yards. I still might, but
no, you got it. Laporta's live. Laporta's very live to get the day.
Very live, right?
The whole offense is real. I know everybody's talking about Gibbs and Montgomery. I don't know. I thought the numbers came high, and I'd rather try to go with the passing game. I'd probably be all over Goff and St. Brown and Williams. I might even try to get a little Khalif Raymond in there, maybe a anytime touchdown here. They might go off on them and have enough to spread around. But I think Laporta here against a team that is probably close to a bottom 5 defending team against tight ends.
Yeah, I stayed off of it, but maybe you're right. Maybe I need to get in closer. So we got the Sunday night game and we got the Monday night game. Steelers, Chargers, our guy Zargo broke this down. I thought at the time that Justin Herbert, with them jacking up his rushing yards from 13 to 20, was going to be too much. Then I saw Keg on it and I was like, all right, stop being a pussy. So I hit that one. I think Zargs likes the Steelers to keep this game close. Yes, he does. And then I was trying to find some other angles in this game. That's about it. 45.5 total, 44.5 total at ESPN, 2.5 or 3 is the side. Ramon.
My Chargers have had to rebuild this offensive line here. So I am feeling a little bit bad about tonight's game. Especially as a favorite in this game, I'm not hedging against them here, but I think the Steelers getting a couple points is certainly fine by me. Not only the offensive line protecting Herbert, I think that's the key, right? The offensive line down, so Herbert has to take off more running, right? That's why the line has moved like it has. And how is that going to work out for a guy like Kamani Badal, who he's had some good games for sure, but this really is a patch and repair job for this Chargers offensive line. And the Steelers, one thing they have is certainly a pretty good defensive front. So I just think the matchup isn't good enough here. It's going to be, I think it'll be end up being a low scoring game considering it's 44 or so. So I'm going to take the under and I'll just root for my Chargers. I'll just go under as my play, and I'll root for the Chargers here.
Let's go.
Can't keep losing here right now at 6-3. I mean, I know they still have a win over everybody in the division so far, but here come your Broncos. We know the Chiefs are on fire, so.
Yeah, the Broncos will come back down to earth, but they'll go to the playoffs. They're almost going to cash their season win total, though. One more win. Real quick.
I feel bad for all the Bo Nix truthers, though. They have to,
I'm a Bo Nix truther. I'm not giving up on him yet.
No. Probably just.
I'm not giving up on him yet. Yeah, everybody can say he sucks. That's fine. He hasn't been very good, especially.
I haven't said that, but that was a very, very bad game. That was really awful.
He was horrible. Everybody was horrible in that game. Last but not least, Eagles Packers 45.5 total. The Packers 1.5 point favorites at home. I'm going to tell you right now, and I just threw this in the chat earlier today. Devontae Smith's going off. Love the matchup. I think this line could be 15, 20 yards off. I'm not even kidding. 52.5 minus 15 at BetMGM. Devontae Smith is who I'm going to chain my wagon to this week, buddy. Eagles, Packers. What do you got?
Okay, because AJ Brown was taken off that final injury report, and I didn't know if that was a number that you had hit before that, or if they had already adjusted, or have they just. That's what you got to do, you guys out there, especially if you listen to Keg, the way these guys talk about it, right? You're not. Sometimes if you even miss the injury, you got to work the cracks and go down there on the roster and then find out where these odds makers are not quick enough on the drop, adjusting the other players, because every action has a reaction when it comes to NFL personnel. So that's what I was wondering about, because certainly with Brown off that list does affect it a little bit. But no, I think this is going to be a knockdown drag out here. I think everyone may be expecting a higher scoring game, but man, this defense for the Packers right now, I mean, the way they're pressuring, they're looking good. It just feels like this is a tough matchup here, actually, for the Eagles, and I'm probably going to end up on the Pack here. It feels like the Sharps are on the Eagles, but I'm probably going to ride with the Pack at home. I think they'll have enough defense in this game to keep this one close. And look, I know the moves on the Eagles. It was what, 2.5, or 3, and now you're looking at Packers here at a pick 'em at the sharp books. Maybe there's still a ones out there at the square books, but I'm probably riding with the home team in an under.
So we got the big show starting up in just a few minutes. That will be the NFL Live line with our guys, Kegger and the boys. Looking forward to that. Don't forget, subscribe to the NTH Sports Picks channel if you're not already. We'd love that. You'll get notified when we're on. Last but not least, I love giving Ramon a platform. What else are you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm on the Nuke the House channel on Saturdays talking college football. I'm here with you, and then over on the Sports Money Network on YouTube daily at 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific. Do a show previewing all games in major sports, and then I'm also on the Tony's Picks YouTube channel, 2:30 a.m. Eastern, 11:30 p.m. Pacific, with a late night show called Night Moves. Just love getting on here and talking sports and sports betting with everybody because this is all I got, Holden.
That's unfortunate. It's okay, Ramon. You're going to get through
breaking news right now, Holden, real quick. I'll let you go. But former NFL Commissioner Paul Tagliabue has passed away at 84.
Paul Tagliabue, that stinks. Long time. For you got to be older to remember him. But yeah, I got an old Paul Tagliabue football. We've got the 1 o'clock slate, the 4 o'clock slate, and the Sunday night football game coming up right here on the which way? NTA Sports Picks channel. There you go. Looking forward to all these bets. Good job by Kegger and the boys hitting a plus 650 on the Jonathan Taylor carries this morning. Ramon, always good to see you. Let's go nuke these bets.